call to order this meeting of the Plain Township Board of Trustees. If everybody will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before us we have our agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections by fellow board members or department heads at this time?
I need to remove fiscal officer number 5.
Okay. Do we have any other adjustments? Okay. If nothing, the agenda will stand as amended. First item on the agenda is new business, and I'll turn that over to Mrs. Campbell.
Thank you. I do want to say, I didn't see anything under sheriff's report, but we all met the new deputy tonight, and that does bring us to 22 deputies, and our goal is 23. So I want to give a huge thank you to the Board of Trustees who are keeping their promises for the levy much more quickly than was ever anticipated. We thought that would be a goal that we would reach sometime next year because there's so much equipment that needs purchased too. We purchased 4 vehicles which also need fully equipped. And we know that this year we will be purchasing all of the brand new Motorola radios, and that's going to come at the end of the year with a big ticket price, but we were able to get those deputies hired, and that is thanks to the Board of Trustees. So thank you. Captain Springer, did you want to add anything to that?
As I'm aware, the board is already aware of this, but we were able to bring the closure of the robbery of PNC Bank as well as the robbery of the Dairy Queen located on the Hills and Dills there. So Detective Ross is really fitting in. He's hitting the ground running. Very frequently he is not actually in the building because he's out in the field. To just kind of capitalize or talk a little bit more about the stats we presented to you last meeting, he had 3 case closures dealing with thefts. What we were able to do is bring our county detective bureau up here to the township hall. They spent a couple days kind of tracking some cases, and they were actually able to close 16 thefts from vehicles in Canton and Plain Townships. And he's got warrants out for a second group that has been breaking in the cars as well. So we're making quite a headway as far as closing some of these cases. Just want that bring to the board's attention.
Good job.
Good job. He's done a phenomenal job, and thank you to the board too. I saw that when we got that update last night, the board's response, so thank you. And I forgot, we also equipped the deputies with tasers, which they've never had, so we are just full steam ahead. So now I'll move to the new business, which myself and I think all of the department heads will share this first bit, which deals with the Hall of Fame Village and the request that Joe received, and then I received from Todd Schaefer, who's one of the construction project managers, and you have it before you. The Hall of Fame Village is continuing to purchase property south of Fulton Road. As we know, they've not acquired all the property. They want to, of course, keep the remaining residents with electric service. AEP is planning to reroute electric service distribution up and across Fulton Road from Clarendon and then along the north side of Fulton Road and back to Barr. It's a temporary installation. They attached a plan, which you have large copies of this evening. Their suggestion, which is quite unusual, is to place a pole in the center, and I did say center, of Lake Avenue, which would require the closure of Lake Avenue. So they'd want it closed late this summer instead of next spring when ODOT, and this is the area that the board and the department heads attended for the ODOT meeting, so instead of next spring. So with that, your department heads met this morning, looked it over. We have some other suggestions, if you'd like to hear those suggestions instead of the middle of the road. Joe, do you want to start with what our thoughts were?
With their plan that they have on paper there, my guess is that they don't want to put it in the right of way between the off-ramp and Lake, because they're going to have to tear it out again, you know what I mean? It is why they probably put it in the middle of the road.
So instead disturb our infrastructure.
So my guess is that, it's hard to tell on that map, but you would be thinking they would be putting it in the right of way of Fulton Road right now, is where that's sitting. I don't know why they, I'm not, don't work for the power company, I don't know why they have to go across the street and then come back. I don't know why they just can't stay on the south side of the road and do the same thing.
Well, probably where the feed, I'm guessing where the feed is to that particular power, probably they want to change it from coming in back off the south side, coming in from the north side. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but this would be the only thing that would make sense to me as to why they want to do that. Because otherwise, they probably want to start on the south side, start to put in more underground. And all those poles and that feed is probably in their way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
The
guessing.
whole village is going to be underground. So
Yeah.
Correct.
This is all temporary for the homes that are still not sold or bought. And technically, I guess they're still our residents.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
In the
Well,
letter,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
they are.
They are.
And we have, the board's going to look in the best interest of our residents. I don't like the tone of the letter like they're doing us a favor when we know it's something that they need to do.
Well, the thing is too, I mean,
Just change
because
that.
we have those bi-weekly job site
That's not been brought up.
trailer talk meetings, and this hasn't been anywhere on the
No.
itineraries or anything.
No.
So this truly is something that just sort of, oh,
Yep.
by the way, here, and we all know full too well that, you know, well, we'll get it far enough along and then we'll bring it. Even though the rhetoric is, hey, let's be great partners, blah, blah, blah. And it's lip service, it's not being proven through in the action.
They didn't just create this drawing
No,
overnight.
this was,
Yeah, this is somebody, I mean, I know that AEP's been working out there a lot down by the school. They're doing a lot of work out there.
But certainly at those Friday at the meetings, the
Well, I haven't
trailer
gone to
meetings.
the last couple, to be quite honest with you. They keep changing them.
Oh, every
I-
meeting's
yeah,
changed.
It's always being
And
changed.
some of it's been up to an hour or two before the
Correct.
meeting.
Right, and
Timing and
what do
location.
we do to make this easy for the residents?
Well, it's not gonna go right as far as I'm
Can't
concerned.
put
It's not going in the middle
You
of.
cannot go in the middle of that road, because they'd have to go out.
I mean,
Help me out.
we
They'd
did
have
ask
to
them
go out
to move it,
to-
you know, east or west, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if
that was our
it's feasible to
recommendation,
them.
is just move it east or west, not the middle of the road.
I mean, realistically, from a legal aspect, I mean, that's our road that we're talking about. So they can't just.
So they've got the legal ability to do stuff in the right of way, as we know, but they don't have the ability to put something in the roadway.
No way.
That's not,
Either they need to relocate it just a little further to either side of it, where it would be within a right of way, but
That's
we're
what we
not
said.
gonna give up
No,
roadway.
Okay.
Lake is delicate right now because everyone have had some pretty bad hardships. Up till a couple of weeks ago, I was getting continuous calls from people on Lake. These people been through a lot, and the ones that are still there, they're still ours. And the last thing we do is keep the pole in the middle and just get a slap in the face.
This is on the north side, I
Right.
want to put the pole.
Correct, we just
People are
can't,
still on the south side.
we just can't add more to their hardship.
Well, Joe and I can give a call to Todd Schaefer tomorrow.
Right.
He's expecting a call, and we will, and that's what the department heads came up with in our meeting today, and that was our recommendation to you, was moving them east or west, but not in the middle of the road. Okay, item number 2, we have been very fortunate in, with the Veterans Memorial Monument to receive donations for the next phase, which was the flags and flagpoles. We received donations, and Rob and Chuck chime in I don't want to leave anybody out. From Scott and Laura Hawes, in the amount of $2,000. From Worsler Brothers, in the amount of $500.
And Scooter Interiors,
Yeah, Van Scoter Interiors,
Wilshire Clark Electric,
Hilshire Clark Electric,
They were $2,000.
$2,000.
the fire department.
Yeah, the fire department through the walk run was $1,300.
And the Stark County Disabled American Veterans Association with purchasing one of the 30 poles and a POWMIA flag for $1429.50.
In Lemon,
That, yeah, we're waiting for the official.
Okay, for the official
to come through,
announcement.
But I've been, yeah,
We've
that's been
been
verbally.
yes. So we do have the donations now to move into the second phase, which were the flags and flagpoles. So I have a resolution before the board tonight for to authorize purchase and payment of the flags and flagpoles from flags.com for the Veterans Memorial Park, not to exceed $6,690.35 from Fund 01F08W.
I will so move.
Second.
As far as discussion, just to clarify, thanks to the folks that have
Yeah, Chief,
contributed, but thanks to Chief and Rob and everybody that's, I mean, I know you've been back and forth with the board, like, no, we want this, we want to make this law complete, but it is critical that we nail it the first time, just like we did with the memorial, the Blue Star Memorial and the Keystone Monument. And again, keeping to the commitment, this is all being done without taxpayer dollars. This is donations. So I think it speaks to what we've got as a vision going over there, and how happy folks are, because we haven't made any hard sell pitches. It's been through general conversations that these gifts have been provided.
And the more they see this to be a credible project, I think the more we're going to be able to get.
Yeah. Can I also just state for the record too, Chief was good enough to get 3 different quotes. This is the best quote. We actually compared an apples to apples quote, but this one in Carrot Top Industries, exact same materials, both companies. This one was $500 cheaper, and then the third quote didn't even come into the ballpark. So Chief did a lot of due diligence and stuff, so I want to thank him directly for it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
and that's the end of new business.
And that will take us to the fiscal officer's report. I'll turn it over to Mr. Wood.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in an amount of $364,505.38.
I will so move.
Second. Second, Mr. Lino.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment of the following medical claims.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the investment report.
Anybody's got any questions for Mr. Wolf? Feel free to see that after the meeting.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a request for resolution to authorize the following transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a request for resolution to authorize the release of insurance proceeds being retained for a loss caused by fire on April 3rd, 2017 at 4033 Hiram Road Northwest in the amount of $20,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that concludes the Fiscal Officer report.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Then take it to the administrator, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. I have one item before the board, is a resolution to approve and authorize payment to J&R Flooring from Fund 01B02 to repair per attached the restroom floors at Alpine Park.
Also moved by Mr. White.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes. Okay, it is 6:15, so we're going to temporarily adjourn from our regular meeting to go into the public hearing for the 2018 alternative tax budget. I am going to turn that over to our fiscal officer, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Tonight I'm presenting the 2018 proposed alternative tax budget. Everyone should have a copy of it in front of them. For this meeting, it's merely for a review. The board doesn't have to approve it until the next meeting. The budget was prepared using conservative estimates in an effort to prevent any negative adjustments at the end of the year. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them now. Or
My understanding, just from the discourse, I mean, for the sake of the general education, the 2018 budget's down about 3.1 million from our current 2017 budget, but that is due mainly from capital expenditures for fire, EMS, road, and some general fund expenditures.
that's correct.
And when you say down, just to clarify, capital accounts are set up for future spending. So that, and we have 10 years to accrue in those capital accounts. So that money, by law, is set up to be spent for that purpose.
Correct.
So just like we did with the fire station, when we saved all of those millions of dollars, for the fire station over a 10-year period, and with levy funds that's promised, the year that we built the fire station, then the next year, it looks inflated, but then the next year you think, oh, our budget's down. No, we're just spending the money that we promised and had in a capital account. That's what those capital accounts are for. Just like with the fire training building, that money's being pulled out of the capital account to go to spend as promised. So it's not that we're losing funds, or we're spending money that we promised to spend on projects we promised to spend.
Yeah, we did that with the ladder truck, and that's,
That was $1 million,
Oh,
that was a
that's
little over $1
Yes.
million.
That's right.
when you put that levy together for that increase, you calculate out over either a 5 or a 10-year period to be able to look at what your capital purchasers are going to be, because obviously in year one of that levy, you have a whole bunch of money.
Correct.
But as that levy then starts to get into years 4 and 5, you have less money available because of the increases of whatever it might be, all those known given things, healthcare and employees and pensions and all that kind of stuff. But now you've set that money aside so that when you target, when the chief has to flag 3 EMS vehicles over a period of time, we'd never be able to buy them all at once.
Correct.
So it's the only smart way to do it.
Yeah.
So our budgeting in a lot of cases is not a one-year budget.
Which actually we've gotten under Mr. Wolf's leadership a lot better with setting up some of the capital accounts. That was definitely a challenge. we
Oh,
had
for
that was-
sure.
Yeah.
Previously.
For sure. So, for the general public, I don't want it to seem like, oh, our budget's down. No, no, no. That's money from mostly levies that we set aside and promised, hey, we're going to buy a training building, or we're going to build a fire station like we did before, or we're going to buy some trucks, or just like with the police levy, hey, we're going to buy 4 vehicles. You're saving that money in capital accounts for future purposes. So you're saving over years and inflating the budget until you can spend that money.
And it's highly scrutinized by the Budget
Yes.
Commission
Oh, yes.
every year.
Yes,
Every
it
chance they
is.
get to point in that back, they
That's
absolutely
right.
will.
Because actually, our budget is in better shape, given our health care and the conservative nature in which we budget, so.
Is there anything, Mr. Leo, anything you want to say?
I do not.
Tom, anything else to add just for the sake of?
That's everything. If anyone has any questions between now and the next meeting, feel free to give me a call.
Okay.
Yeah, this is more so you have 2 weeks to look through it,
Actually,
give us
this
questions.
is pretty easy to follow, too.
I was gonna say, we all put together.
Yeah.
Makes it
Thank
simple
you.
for us to look at.
Got a good staff in the fiscal office, so.
Is there anything else? All right. With that, we will conclude the alternative tax budget hearing. We will reconvene our regular meeting where we're going to pick up the fire department and then turn that over to Chief Shalber.
Yes, I just have one item on tonight. Resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to direct the Plain Township Fire Department to place an advertisement for bids for the construction of a mobile training building for the Plain Township Fire Department in a newspaper published in Stark County of general circulation on August 3rd and August 10th in the repository, with bids received and opened on August 31st at 12 p.m.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mr. Lino,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
That concludes fire department.
Quiet. Thanks, Chief. Take it to the road department.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Item number 1 is a letter to the Stark County engineers requesting that the Stark County engineers perform a drainage survey and a cost analysis on the east side of East Center from Columbus Road to 55th Street Northeast. They're requesting that the board sign this letter before they can do any work. It's just in temporary stages right now. It's just trying to get our ducks in a row, see if it'll even work. So,
Yeah, that's a crazy
Yes, it
situation up
is.
there. We've got business that
Yeah.
sits
Yep.
way down below grade from up there, and then there's some city involvement as far as annexations that took place there. So there's a good amount of water coming from there. So,
we all met, the city, the county, and myself.
yeah,
This is our part we're looking at.
Yeah.
sure. So, all right.
Next item.
Item number 2, we just talked about it, 38th Street between Cleveland Avenue and Harrison. As we know, 38th Street's been temporarily closed one lane for most of the summer. Between Cleveland Avenue and Harrison, other than people that live there, it's going to be closed for probably a month. They're going to be finishing up every curb and gutter and everything. They're even going to get a base asphalt put in there before they open it up on just that section.
And to clarify, because I know we all get calls on this, whether it's the road department, it's township hall, any of the trustees. From Cleveland all the way to the railroad tracks is the city of Canton. That is not Plain Township.
We have residence properties on the north, that's all.
That's all.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it looks like war zone over there, because I was just through it.
These people have been very patient on how they're doing it.
They are.
They got what, every month?
They're behind, a big time.
Well, plus the
What's
neighborhoods
in a month?
that are
Probably not behind.
north of that.
Behind, not
All
over.
right.
Oh,
I think they're going to-
so when's the jump gonna be done?
Supposed to be done October 1st, but I don't see
And I know
that.
we've already communicated it out on social media and web and so forth, so.
This one thing will be open probably for a month. The rest of it, she done.
That's all.
Okay,
That's all I got. Thank you.
thank you, Joe. Just from a general question, how's our paving? No,
Slow.
Okay.
We've had several conversations with Central Allied. I know they're busy, and maybe they outdid themselves this year. But we are on top of them. We probably got 35% of our roads paved, ground and paved that we wanted. So we're supposed to come back in tomorrow, so we'll see how long we keep here.
but we'll still by year end, however they gotta get the resources, there'll be a little over 17, not quite 18 miles of roadway.
17.6, I think.
Wow, it goes to 18.
Yeah, almost 18.
Over 2 times what was
That's amazing.
able to turn past.
Yep.
Okay,
That's outstanding.
turn it over to the zoning department, Mr. Farrar.
Thank you, sir. Item number 1 is a resolution to declare items A through F as nuisance abatements.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And item number 2 is a resolution to declare items A through B as nuisance abatement payments.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
You see some of those?
Yeah.
Item number 3 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of office equipment from National Business Furniture in an amount not to exceed $6,000 taken from Fund 01A26E.
I will so
I'll
move.
second it.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And item number 4 is a resolution. As you are already well aware, we have several properties in the township that are habitual nuisance abatement problems continually year after year. As you're also aware, we have to wait until those habitual problems, lawns, are at least 8 inches high before we can do anything. After we begin our process, it's several weeks before we can go in and abate, and the neighbors have to put up with lawns that are 10, 11, 12 inches high for weeks.
These are repeats, right?
Repeat, yeah, repeat.
Correct.
Yes, the repeats. In order to combat that extremely long waiting period, this resolution allows the Plain Township zoning inspector or zoning director to declare a repeat offender a nuisance after 4 days' notice per 505.81C1.
I will so happily move on this.
I will second that.
Discussion.
Just good work.
Yeah.
When you present that to us, we got to read over it. You looked over this, I mean, that, however you two came up with it and you found it, what a great job, because whatever we can do to alleviate this, I'd hate to have next meeting, and now that we can get it done even quicker, just nice job, you guys. Look at
Especially
it.
when we have 5 Tuesdays in a month, and we have 3
Yeah.
weeks sometimes.
Well, and we used to do special
We need to do
meetings.
special meetings.
Yeah.
Nice job, Tom.
It's a common, I think this just goes to show a combination of, what we're doing to mitigate it on the backside so we don't get to it, but when we still have these properties, the unfortunate reality is we've got to use the law that we have at our discretion, and none of your predecessors have ever done the research or the effort to
No.
get it to this point,
No,
so
no, yeah.
it'll speak volumes to
Yes.
your efforts and leadership over there.
Yes, agreed.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that's all for zoning.
Okay. Let's see, turn it to Parks, Mr. Steinberg.
Thank you, Joe. Item number 1A, it's just simply a resolution to allow us to rescind resolution number 16-180, which is Home Rule Chapter 500, for park reservation rules, just to allow us in the future a more simplistic approach to changing fees as the climate dictates for us. We spoke with Mr. Williams at length, and he felt through my ask that this might be the most easy way to rescind one and then provide you with a resolution for your approval when the need arises to change said fees.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
And then item 1B of Parks would be just to put forth a resolution to update said fees so that all reservations shall pay a non-refundable administration fee of $10. And then residents shall pay $10 an hour and non-residents $15 per hour for shelter fees. The reason being is we are seeing increased activity in our shelters, but we're also seeing increased trash, debris, no-shows. Just it takes more time and effort to keep them up, so we have to have the fees reflect the time that we have to put into them.
I will so move.
A second.
Discussion.
It's effective November 1st with the
Thank you.
active upgrade.
Yeah, that's pretty generous.
That's very generous.
Quite a bargain.
We are still far, far ahead of anybody else in the township. Which is fair.
Yep. That's-
And I put ours up against any others.
Yeah.
Roll call?
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen, that's all I have.
And that takes us to the law director.
Yes, just one item on the agenda this evening. It is a resolution objecting to the cancel of Fulton Drive. Annexation was filed July 10th, I believe.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Okay, nothing under communications. Let's see here, it takes us to public speaks. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address the Board of Trustees? So, state your name and address. Okay, nothing. It's going to take us to concerns of trustees. Mr. Lena, do you have anything?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Sabo? Just for the sake of bringing it up, we were over, went to the Stark County Veterans Service Commission Saturday for a grand opening, and what a phenomenal organization. Honestly, they've said since they've located into Plain Township, their numbers are up about, what, 600 cases.
600 cases.
Instead of being down in the city,
Wow.
and they feel it's central access, easy access, parking.
Wow.
I mean, it's got the same great faces there, but Dean Covey, who is running that down there, the passion you couldn't contain. It was truly phenomenal. This part of the tour over there that we got directly from her, we found some collaborative opportunities within the township that, we'll be obviously working through. But, for the veterans in our community, there's a little over 30,000 in the county. We've got about, I think it's 12%, not quite 15% in Plain Township. Know that it's the 29, 55 Ys, quick, convenient access. It's in the backside of the building, the workshops incorporated.
It's county building, so they're getting good use out of it. I mean, she's really passionate about her job, and, what initiatives they're doing, what services they provide. And, the more she talked, the more we realized how we can collaborate and use not only our time, but like our newsletter, getting the word out, and just so many things that we weren't quite aware of, and hopefully we can tie some of that into our Veterans Day events as well.
Anything else in terms of trustees? Okay, I'll take that. Concerns of the fiscal officer, Mr. Wolf?
No concerns.
Okay, thank you. We'll take us to the approval of the minutes for July 11th, 2017, and I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes. We do have a need for executive session, so be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn to executive session at 6:32 p.m. from this regular meeting is authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for the purpose and consideration of 1A, appointment of a public employee official, B, employment of a public employee or official, C, dismissal of a public employee or official, D, discipline of a public employee or official, F, compensation of a public employee or official, and 2B, the sale of property by competitive bid to prevent the disclosure of information that would provide competitive advantage.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.